What is going on, guys? Welcome to the ultimate camera comparison between the highest end flagship phones of 2022. That is the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. First of all, if you're new here, go ahead and smash that like button and also hit the subscribe button to keep me motivated. And if you're already subscribed, thanks for tuning in. In this video, we'll go over each of the aspects of both of these cameras, and in the end I'll also let you know like which one would I recommend for which use cases that might be relating to you. So this is not one of those comparisons where I'll just leave it to you. No, I'll also help you decide for which use cases or which of your applications which camera would be more preferable. So first of all, we'll go through all the videos, including the 8K video and the Dolby Vision HDR on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And then we'll go over the photos, and I'll also run through like what are my opinions on each of the outputs produced by both of these smartphone cameras. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. This is a 4K 60 on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. This is a 4K 60 video on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let me know how the microphone sounds. This is 4K 30 on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is the 4K 30 FPS on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Let me know how the microphone sounds. Here's the cinematic mode on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is portrait video on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Now, after watching all these video samples, we can clearly say that the Samsung, as always, produces a bit more saturated output than the iPhone. The videos coming out of the Samsung are mostly like immediately you can just post them on social media. You don't need to edit them mostly in post because they are mostly saturated and most pleasing for majority of the audiences. The iPhone videos, whereas, are a bit soft right from the camera out of the box, but yes, a little bit of editing can actually make them look like the Samsung ones. So I would say that the iPhone videos are more versatile, but yes, you will need a little bit of editing. Both have excellent dynamic range and actually also perform really good when placed against the sun. When it comes to the microphone, the mic from the Samsung actually focuses more on your voice and does some noise reduction, like background noise reduction. If you're vlogging, then it really focuses on your voice, so it's a good option. But yes, the overall audio quality is a bit robotic, I would say. The microphone of the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max, it has really good audio quality. It does not do that much noise reduction and still has a lot of background noise, but the overall quality is of higher output and higher quality, I would say. iPhone videos are really smooth. Just sometimes using Dolby Vision HDR can give you some stutters here and there. But when it comes to the Samsung phone, yes, the stutters are more prominent and you get more times than the iPhone one. So the iPhone videos, I would say, are more reliable than the Samsung videos. Dolby Vision HDR, on the other hand, in the iPhone captures actually more details and also more light. But the issue with that is that there is some focus delays in that. The 8K on the Samsung, whereas actually nails it when it comes to focus. But the issue with that is that I could never actually get a smooth output when it comes to 8K. The output is usually jittery, and I don't think that I would recommend that for anyone to use it unless until you are having static video shots, like you're just placing your phone at one place and recording. And also, if you want to take high quality stills from your videos, then in that case, the 8K does well, but not for regular cinematic video taking modes, I would say. The cinematic video in this samples that I showed, actually, the iPhone did better in terms of edge detection, which is actually, it does not happen often with the iPhones. The edge detection on Samsung, I have seen in my day to day usage, is better when it comes to portrait videos. But yes, in the samples which I have shown, in that actually the iPhone nailed it. So in both phones, the edge detection is a bit of a hit or miss most of the times. But if I have to lean on one, I would go with the Samsung. When it comes to zooming, Samsung can obviously zoom way more with more clarity and more stabilization also. So if you have more zooming applications in your video, then the Samsung is your best bet. Now let's move on to the photos section. Now let's start with a macro shot, and do note that going further, all the iPhone images would be on the left and the Samsung would be on the right. And I've maintained this consistency so that it will be easy to follow. So in this first macro shot, note that the iPhone can get more closer. The Samsung cannot get more closer than this, and it loses focus. But overall, the image on the Samsung is a bit more saturated and also has more details. Whereas on the iPhone, it has blurred out the edges. Now taking a step back to match with the Samsung, here is a perspective of a similar viewpoint. And here we see that both the images have good details, but the center point, if you see, is out of focus on the iPhone, and on the Samsung it's focused. Now here is our first selfie. I like how the Samsung retained the warmth because the sun was directly pointing towards me, whereas the iPhone tried to balance the color, and overall it resulted in a softer image, but both of them are pretty much detailed. Now here is a portrait selfie on both the phones, and on the iPhone I think it looks like an artificial cutout, whereas on the Samsung the edges are smoothened out and it leans into a smooth transition into the background, and I think the Samsung one looks better here. Again, it has maintained the same color science which was there before of keeping the warmth in the image. Here is another macro or close-up shot, and again we see that the iPhone can get more closer but is overall a bit soft. Taking a step back, here is the perspective, and both the images look very detailed and sharp and good colors also. Here is our first ultra wide. I could not find much good ultra wide examples here, but this is the first one now. And we can see that the ultra wide on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, it's a bit more wider, and it also captures more details in the shadows, whereas on the iPhone there are darker areas which are just black. Again, in this ultra wide example, we see that the Samsung is a bit more wider, but the iPhone is a brighter image, and also on the sky it looks natural, whereas on the Samsung I see some noise and it also has a more bluish tint. Details are very good on both the phones. Here is our first shot from the main camera, and on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra you can see that on the shade there on the rooftop it has captured more details, whereas on the iPhone it is more darker. Now I tried to edit this image, but yes, after bringing up the shadows the image does not look the same and loses the contrast, so I will give this to Samsung. Overall it has more details, it has also retained the warmth that is there from the sunlight, the natural sunlight, whereas the iPhone looks more processed, and I don't know why it crushes the shadows more. Here is another example from the main camera, and here again the same thing we can see here, that the Samsung is more saturated, captures more details in the shadows, whereas if you see in the leaves on the top left corner, it's all black on the iPhone. And here is an indoor shot, and again maintaining the same thing, the iPhone has gone a bit darker in the blacks, whereas the Samsung is a bit brighter. But overall in terms of details, I think I will give this to the iPhone, because somehow it has managed that light source, and here the Samsung, just because of the light, it looks a bit softer, and probably the focus has gone out of a bit. Now in this shot the iPhone actually captured more saturated colors and the Samsung one was more natural, but the focus on the iPhone I think is better because it has focused better on the subject and blurred out the borders, whereas on the Samsung everything is in focus, which is also not a bad thing. But if you see in the text, the iPhone has retained the text of the equalizers of all the knobs, whereas on the Samsung it is crushed a bit. Another indoor shot, and again here we see that Samsung has captured all the light that was coming into it and has produced a brighter image, Whereas on the iPhone, it has again darkened the blacks and it has given a more contrasty image here. In this mode, the iPhone automatically switched to the portrait mode and blurred the background, whereas the Samsung did not activate this mode at all and it just gave a plain image. But yes, it does have some blur in the background and focus on the subject. So both of them have good details, but I would prefer the Samsung in this one because it has captured better colors than the iPhone. Now let's switch to our main highlight, the zoom. Now starting off with the iPhone maxes out at this image that you see here, whereas on the Samsung we have 100 times space zoom. So if you compare both of these, Samsung can definitely go more ahead and also captures more details this time and is also more stable in the 100 times space zoom. So if you see the next shot of the moon, this is an amazing shot that is captured from the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Probably this has also to do with AI, but that is okay because it is more closer to reality than before. Now let's switch to the night shots. But in my daily experience, I would say that the iPhone captures more brighter night shots and the Samsung one actually crushes the darks. So when it comes to night portraits and night photography, even though Samsung has introduced the nightography thing this time, I think the iPhone captures more brighter night shots and also more details. But the Samsung ones are also not bad and they produce more realistic night images this time. So now coming to the conclusion, and which smartphone camera out of these two do I recommend to what type of users? Now I really appreciate how far Samsung has come, and actually this year it's even more difficult to tell which one to go for because now both stand neck to neck and both of them go back and forth. Like sometimes the iPhone produces better shots or videos, and sometimes the Samsung produces better shots and videos. But one thing I have complaints about the Samsung one is about the performance, and the same thing I mentioned in my full review of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra as well. There is something with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip, One UI, and the integration with the camera app that things are not always smooth. There is a comparatively larger shutter lag in the photos, and when it comes to videos, I 90% of the times get some stutters in the videos. So if you have applications and uses where time is everything and you won't get any other chance to take that shot or that video. So in those cases, the iPhone is more reliable because of the performance that it offers with the A15 Bionic chip and how well iPhones have always performed so good in videos and photos because of that considerably low shutter lag and also the smoothness in the videos where hardly we see any jitters or anything, and we can easily rely on like even quick take features work so smoothly on the iPhones, even the older iPhone SE 2 and of course the iPhone SE 3 as well. So even the cheapest of the cheapest iPhones have very smooth video taking capability and also the photos coming out of it are always consistent. Don't get me wrong, the Samsung is nowhere behind and sometimes it also exceeds the performance capabilities and also the details, the colors of the iPhones. The only thing is the reliability factor, for which I think we should wait for a couple of months because I saw one news about Samsung that one Samsung engineer addressed one user's complaints about the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra's camera, and they said that they would be addressing the camera quality in future updates. So like this performance and the camera quality of the S22 Ultra is likely to improve a lot in future software updates. So, but until then and as of today, I would still recommend the iPhone to be more reliable and more consistent. If you don't want to take any chances and if you want the best of the best, in the market which is more reliable and consistent, then of course the iPhone 13 Pro Max is the way to go. But if you're on the Android side and always have been on the Android side and want just immediately postable photos like which are more pleasing and don't need much editing, and also when it comes to the videos also are of high quality. It's just that because of the shutter lag performance, you might need to retake and try again. That's it guys. If you guys have any questions, do let me know in the comment section below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.